Hello, everybody. My name is Bufe. I'm actually a pharmacovigilance expert, but I also work in regulatory affairs in clinical trials and medical devices and so forth. I've got a few degrees. I am a generalist. People would tell me not a specialist. The AI safety report describes evidence-based assurance, safety cases, performance logs, monitoring as voluntary. Unfortunately, in my field, that's not an option. We can't play around with that. We need to have set rules. We are accountable for safety of information that is publicly available. Clinical trials running, adverse events flow from site every day, free text narratives that are coded to standard terminology. These are watched for signals. Patterns are recognized. The patterns paints a picture that goes off to the regulator. The regulator instigates changes to products, medicines, and so forth. Unfortunately, AI stepped in, starting to streamline the processes, makes things a bit easier. Here's the line my field has settled. While AI drifts, a human owns the record. It's an assistive aid. It's not something that just takes over. It's very important that we have got three valuable assets. In our processes, we define the intended use. We base everything on validation, and it's extremely difficult to validate AI models. It's actually impossible. We monitor change, so if the models change, we actually initiate change control. And at the end of the day, it is not the models or AI that's responsible, it's a named person. Now, this is where things get a bit sticky. The trap is that dangerous failures are silent. The model is validated, go live, performs well. Mid-study, the world moves, the vendor ships an update. Nobody knows about it. The model still reacts like it's supposed to reacting, but nobody sees what is going wrong. The answer is wrong. This is a signal that should have been surfaced. And if we do not take the appropriate controls in our line of work, these have detrimental effects. So no longer is just a acceptance. We have to build new safeguards. We have to regulate it in a different way. It's a unique way. These are not written in black and white. Unfortunately, regulators ourselves are not keeping up with it. And that's where I find myself in that field of working with a lot of agents and patients and safeguards and regulators to actually come up with solutions. Now, agents makes things much difficult. Agent doesn't just sit on the side. It changes coding to triage, escalation. It crosses multiple tasks. My field is currently my field just writes a blunt rule saying this is not allowed. Continuous models is no longer allowed in our practice. Annex 22 is a regulation that the EMA, the TGA, and the European regulators are actually debating at the moment. It applies to good manufacturing practice, but in our field of practice, the rule is blunt. We cannot have continuous shifting models in our line of work. Now, of course, there's a lot of organizations that want to challenge that debate itself, and that's where I find myself in to actually help them navigate those regulatory expectations. But unfortunately, today, as I'm speaking to you, we can't have a shifting field in my practice of area. So a lot of the time when I actually speak to my clients, they're not very happy with the output I provide, but I try to navigate them to a more amicable outcome. And that is my end of my talk. At the end of the day, we don't assign responsibilities to a model. We assign it to a person. They sign off it. They are still accountable for the outcome. All right. Thank you very much.